BioNTech swung to a massive profit in the second quarter. The German drug maker is set to deliver millions more of its pioneering coronavirus vaccine in the coming months, and it's lifted its sales forecast for the full year. That says the global market for COVID-19 vaccines is expected to top $70 billion, with giants BioNTech, Pfizer and Moderna on course to take the lion's share. Let's get more on this now with Ranjit Thomas in Raleigh, North Carolina. He's a managing partner at Spice Capital Advisors and has written extensively about BioNTech. Welcome to the program, Ranjit. Now, BioNTech has really turned its fortunes around, hasn't it? It's gone from a $100 million loss in the second quarter of last year to a profit of more than $3 billion in the last quarter, thanks to its COVID-19 vaccine. Do their latest results meet your expectations?
It's great to be here in your show, Oscar. And yes, they exceeded, I think, most people's expectations. The expectation was that they'd do about $4 billion in revenues and about $9 per share in profits. They came in at more than $5 billion in revenues and about $12 per share in profits. And it's amazing that this 13-year-old company is going to be probably the second largest profitable company in Germany this year, behind only Volkswagen.
It is incredible for what's essentially a startup, and as we've covered on the show, it was founded by a couple of Turkish-German people, which makes it all the more significant for our program. But there is no doubt that BioNTech has been a big winner during this pandemic. It was the first to come to market with a COVID-19 vaccine, pioneering that mRNA technology. Its injection is widely seen as being the most effective right now, and there's growing talk about the need for possible booster shots. What's your outlook for the company given the set of criteria that I've just outlined there? Will BioNTech's fortunes continue to grow, and by how much, do you think?
Firstly, I think, from a medical evidence point of view, I'm not an expert, but I don't think boosters are strictly necessary. But even so, they will be administered. And that is because governments are administering or giving out these doses free. And when something is free, you need only to send some marginal value from it to go and get it. So there will be public pressure from people to get boosters, and the governments will go buy the booster shots and administer it to their populations, especially in Western countries. So I believe that the revenues are sustainable in the short to medium term. And it all comes down to whether there's increased competition from a product that's similar in efficacy or not. And there are a few on the horizon, but nothing approved so far.
We know that BioNTech has partnered with the pharma giant Pfizer to develop and distribute its COVID-19 vaccine. Explain to us how that partnership works and who ultimately has the upper hand in that relationship?
So you would think that a giant like Pfizer might have the upper hand in this relationship, but BioNTech has struck a fabulous deal with Pfizer. They actually get half the gross profits from every vaccine shot that Pfizer makes. And then Pfizer has to incur its operational expenses after that. So BioNTech actually makes more money off every Pfizer shot than Pfizer itself does.
Interesting. Now, BioNTech says it's using the windfall from its COVID-19 vaccine to fund other research ventures, including an injection that might fend off tumours, also vaccines for the flu and malaria, which have eluded other drug makers for years now. How would you rate those prospects? Do you think they have a good chance of succeeding?
Yes. Oscar, from humanity's point of view, I hope they do invest in these other drugs and they succeed. But from a shareholder's point of view, I don't think it matters that much because the COVID vaccine is so big and so profitable that the contribution from other drugs is going to be minimal, at least in the next decade or so.
Okay, now, we also know that BioNTech and Pfizer have been criticised after a Financial Times report suggested that they were looking at jacking up the price of their COVID-19 vaccines to the EU by up to 25%. Oxfam, when they appeared on our program, said that they were basically profiteering from the pandemic. We know higher profits are a good thing for shareholders, but do you think BioNTech will face the same pressure that other pharma giants do right now in terms of being more corporate and socially responsible?
Yeah. So first, I don't know how accurate those figures are because there could be discounts after them. But Pfizer did say that the reason for the price increase was because they were going to sell it in smaller lots. So, lots that could be distributed to, say, pediatricians' offices rather than to a central vaccination spot. Even so, the drug is so profitable and costs so little to make that I'm surprised they went with a straight face and asked for a price increase. And I'm even more surprised that government officials would be willing to pay a higher price. And it looks like they certainly don't look at the financial statements of these companies. And if you're a government official watching this show, let me tell you that it costs them $5 to make a dose. And they incur a little bit of selling expenses. I guess it's minor because it doesn't take, the drug pretty much sells itself. So it cost them all in about $6 to make it. And you're paying $20 for it and you want to pay more. If I were a private entity, I would be going to them and saying, you know what, $10 is a good price. You'd make a healthy 40% margin even with that.
All right, there's some interesting advice there, Ranjit. Thank you so much again for joining us on the program. We really did appreciate your analysis.
It was a pleasure, Oscar. Thank you.